Yo, welcome to another episode of the Bjj Goons podcast. I'm your host, Tim, the Mushmaster Spriggs, and with me as always every week is...
Yo, what's up, everybody? It's Nico Ball, no new Nico. Glad to be back on the best BJJ podcast ever. Thank you for rocking with us, and welcome if you're new.
Welcome to the show, everybody. Another beautiful day out here. Last week we had the Randori Jiu-Jitsu Invitational. I'm not a future teller. As you can tell, like, we're wearing the same exact clothes as the last episode because we double up.
So then why are you saying last week? How are you going to say last week and then tell them that it's not last week? You either stick to the lie or don't lie. Like, come on.
Nico, I am a man, okay? We are not good at lying. Just go with it. So last week we had an episode and we talked about Randori Jiu-Jitsu Invitational. Hopefully you watched it. I mean, if you're watching this, you probably watched that one. And as you know, we had a really good time at Randori Jiu-Jitsu Invitational. We're not going to go into detail about it just because you should have been there. But nonetheless, it was a really good time. Hopefully you guys showed up. And yeah, that's basically it. Nico, what are we talking about today?
What are we talking about? We're talking about more BJJ bitch-assness.
BJJ bitch assness.
Yes, we have a little bit more coming on the horizon, ladies and gentlemen, along with the COVID, the Omicron, the Deltatron, the Influenzatron, and all that other BS. We have Dylan Dennis sliding out of the creases with more news. This time it's not Tim talking smack.
I can't believe that I tried to get a fight with this guy.
And you had a lot of money. I can't believe you had that much money.
I'm a very resourceful gentleman, Nico. Very resourceful. I can get what I want when I want, depending on the situation. I can do a lot of things, but I can't believe that I would stoop to a level of this guy. The thing with Dylan Dennis is, like, he has a war of words with Ara Helwani. But let me preface this by saying...
He has a tantrum like a baby. This reminds me of a baby tantrum. Like, he's not even coming at fighters this time. Like, you're going at the press. You're going at the media.
He's going at the media, and he is punching way above his weight class. Because, judging from his recent behavior, this guy's getting arrested and gaffled by... he got gaffled by a bouncer, then got locked up. I mean, you're a professional fighter, dude. You shouldn't be getting beat up by bouncers.
I forgot about that. So he didn't just get beat up by a bouncer. He got choked out by a bouncer.
Choked the fuck out.
Oh.
You're Henzo Gracie black belt. You're Henzo. I mean, not Henzo. I'm sorry, Marcelo Garcia black belt. I forgot. It's so fucked up that I forgot who he got his black belt from because he has rarely competed in the last 3 years.
He's had knee injury.
He's had a bunch of stuff.
He was with, I'm not quoting Ryan, with the...
Yeah, you don't even remember.
McGregor.
Yeah, okay.
They all look the same. He was with McGregor, hanging around. So, yeah, he's kind of been, like, off focus with his career. And he's definitely really off focus with his insults as well.
He fumbled the fucking bag.
I mean, when you're going to insult a writer, like, you need to come with the fire. It's like you don't step into somebody else's territory because especially when you've been off the field for so long, like, there's so much to go against you. You needed to go into this like 8 Mile, like, knowing that they were going to come at you for shooting your friend and this and that, like, but he didn't. Like, he didn't come prepared.
He didn't come prepared. I just want to say, before we get into the shits, Dylan Dennis completely fumbled the bag and fumbled his career. You were, at one point, one of the, if not the most famous jiu-jitsu guy in the world, just off the strength of being boys with Conor McGregor. You were his personal grappling training partner. You got a deal with Bellator to fight people that weren't very experienced. We could say tin cans. I don't think that's very fair because a tin can to us might be a certified killer to some random guy walking down the street. He had it so good, and then all of a sudden he just started being a just professional shit talker. Yes, he had knee injuries, but you hear through the grapevine the guy isn't rehabbing correctly. He's bullshitting. All he's doing is partying. I mean, you can look at his face, even despite the fact that did get his ass beat by the bouncer. You can look at his face and tell that he's red faced, fat, pleasantly plump, whatever the fuck you want to call it. He's just not training. Mm-hmm. And he just totally squandered the last 3 years of his career. And despite the COVID shit, all that other stuff, people not wanting to train with him, he still blew the bag.
People not wanting to train with him.
Yes. People not wanting to train with them. And the bar is so low to be famous and to be a famous martial artist.
Mm-hmm. Because this man, he made it onto the Flagrant 2 podcast. So if you like to listen to podcasts, or for maybe if you don't know exactly who Dillon Danis is or how dumb Dillon Danis is, you should attempt to go listen to his interview on Flagrant 2. Because he just mumbles and bumbles. Like, I thought I was bad at speaking, but he's just so hard to listen to. Like, and leave in the comments how far into it you can get or how much time you could actually watch, because like I couldn't. Not only could I not, like I paid a consultation fee, went up to New York, and I had to look one of the men that produces that podcast in the face and be like, what the actual fuck?
And what did he say? Numbers?
Not necessarily numbers. He said Danis knows exactly what he's doing, and as soon as like the camera turned on, like like he has it like. Because I tried to be like, someone tried to tell me he might be autistic or some shit like that. And he's like, nah, he's cool. And I was like, autism was like an out, man. If he's cool and he's like that, that's not good. And like, I don't know, just like.
I mean, autism is a catch-all nowadays. If someone's wilding out, that's the first go-to they say.
I mean, and not to say anything against it, in
There's
education. That's why I was like, it'd be like, okay, so clearly he just needs somebody to coach him on how to socialize a little bit better. I feel like Conor McGregor fucked him up. Like we were talking about Antonio Brown on the Patreon, and you showed me that video of him getting his head hit, and I feel like that, like his head, and then like that person coming by was Conor McGregor, and then Danis's career died.
Sometimes it's you're a product of your environment. I truly believe that people are a product of the environment and the influences that they have in their life, and
in the feedback that they get from them.
The feedback, because you had a dog?
Yes.
And you teach children, right?
We're going into Pavlov. We're getting experiments here.
No,
yes.
You shouldn't experiment on children. But what I'm trying
to dog, Pavlov is a dog.
I know what I'm saying. Okay, you're an educator. She does not do experiments on children. Okay. What I wanted to say was it's all about feedback that you get. It's all about reinforcement. If you do negative things and get positive reinforcement from it, you are going to continue to do those negative things no matter how foul it is. And I mean, this guy isn't a horrible person on the level of a Donald Trump or a Adolf Hitler, but he has done some really crazy stuff. And I think the influence of Conor McGregor, seeing that flashy lifestyle and you just getting attention just from being a side character and you being able to get pushed to the forefront without having the skills, without having the ability to handle it, it's going to result in you getting dissed by the Walter Cronkite of mixed martial arts journalism. Ariel Helwani torched him. He verbally crucified Dillon Danis. And it's kind of not fair, but I kind of don't feel bad for Dillon because he brought it upon himself. But let's get into the shits. Dillon Danis has made the headlines again after responding to harsh onslaught received by MMA journalist Ariel Helwani. Last week, Ariel Helwani praised Jake Paul, which we're going to get to later, for his challenge to UFC President Dana White. And as expected, it didn't sit well with the Bellator fighter. And I'm going to use this term lightly. You're not a Bellator fighter if you haven't fought in, I don't know, since pre-COVID? Anyway, Bellator fighter, given the history between the two athletes, Danis then made the following comment. Ariel, you're a bitch. Ariel engaged in a war of words with Dillon Danis, throwing shade left and right to much of the delight of the MMA community. This is how Ariel Helwani roast Dillon Danis. You ready, Nico?
Yeah, I got it here.
Guys, if you think life sucks right now, just think You could have begged for 3 years to fight an O&O YouTuber, and 3 years later, still not be popular enough or good enough to even be considered a worthy opponent for him. Imagine that. In other words, you could be Dylan Dennis. I know I did a lot of like fancy like inflections, but that is a 5-star roasting. Oh my God.
It was great, and there's more. There's more than one that he goes on. Like, we'll post
Please,
the
please,
link to
please,
the
please.
article in it. I had that one, but I just find it so funny because if you look at the article and you look at Dennis's responses, like that was so eloquently put. How, like that little paragraph, there were sentences, you know, there was abbreviations and stuff like that. And Dennis's responses are all in like, and he writes weird. It'll be like, you have like line one shirt, line dirty fuck. Like, I don't know. Like his comebacks are just like, it looks like so primitive.
Are you sure he's not on the spectrum? I'm not throwing shade to people on the spectrum. I just want to know. Because I always ask this question because sometimes when people act a certain way, and I've seen it especially the last 2 years, people act so nonsensical that it has to be clinical. How unself-aware can people be? Are you going to read another quote? Because
I only had that one quote here.
Okay. Here's the other Ariel quote. Here's the other quote. You ready?
Yeah.
Hey guys, follow me real quick and I'll follow you back and pay you $1,000. For fuck's sake. Get a grip, Dylan. Who acts like this? 3, 2, 1. Before old DD texts me, hey bro, why don't you like me? Like, I thought we were cool, bro. Can't wait for the witty tweet reply too. And then he'll call for a truce and then ask me to retweet his tweets every 2 seconds. What a pleasure. I tend to believe that Ariel's telling the truth here. Only because I know people that know Dylan Dennis, and this guy definitely goes to the club and begs the DJ to give him a shout out, or he'll talk to a promoter and beg for them to put him on the poster. That's the type of guy he is. That is the epitome of clout chasing, which is sad. Which is sad.
I didn't know that little detail about him, but I'm not surprised. And it's like, because I've heard of, I don't know, that just reminds me, I've heard of people that like, they were saying they had bought a bottle at the club and they came out, but like the girl didn't get it on film, so she made her go back and walk back out. It's like Dylan Dennis would like to go out with that girl. That would be a good girlfriend for him. Like, how you ask somebody to be on, like, and then at his level too, and it's like, because yo, he deserves it. So to ask for it, it's like, yo, why? Don't you feel like like
no shame, but this is the era that we live in.
Yeah,
we are in the clout era. It's all about the clout. They do anything for clout. Shout out to the Migos. They had a damn dead to rights. They do anything for clout. And before we move on, I just want to say this too. It is very sad to see. As much as we like to shit on Dylan Dennis and bury him and, you know, continue to throw dirt on his proverbial grave, this man was at one time very good at jiu-jitsu. He might still be. And he's still young and it's not too late, but he's going to have to do a lot of soul searching, self-reflection, and rehabilitation of his image. Because he's kind of a pariah. He's kind of made a joke of himself and his academy and where he comes from. Very disappointing. This guy had a very close match with Gordon Ryan at ADCC 2017. I've had matches with him. He's tough. He's tough. He's not a pussy. He acts a fool, especially if he's drugged out of his mind. But there's still something inside of there that can be salvaged, I think. It's just that he needs to get out of his own way and really get his head out of his ass and have people that actually care about him and look out for him.
Those are hard to find nowadays.
It's very hard to find nowadays. And I think a lot of it goes back to when he was kicked out of Marcelo Garcia's gym. Because I know the story. I was told the version of the story that We should probably say that for a Patreon. I'm not going to tell you the story, but
Next
whatever
Patreon,
happened,
next Patreon.
that's next Patreon. But I will say this:
The official story that he was too blingy, too showy, too about the media, not about training, and it just didn't align with the values.
that
of
is
the
a
gym.
whack excuse, and
That is the official story. That's what we call
the
it. A whack
unofficial
excuse,
story.
official story, synonyms.
the unofficial story, in my opinion, is still not enough for him to get kicked out. That's in my opinion. And I think that's pretty sad. But, as much shit as I talked, I'm going to be honest, I really was training to fight him in MMA. And there were talks for me to get signed by it. They tried to. I'll tell that whole story later on too in the Patreon at patreon.com/Bjj Goons. Nonetheless, I will say this. He still has an opportunity where if he gets his shit together, it's not too late. But it's going to be tough. It's going to be real tough.
Rehab. He needs to go into. We need a fighter's rehab to help.
Do
help
you
get
think
our
we need
boys in
one?
line.
Do we need a fighter's rehab?
Yes.
Well, that's a good segue, though.
Yeah.
That's a really good segue, Nico. Genius segue. It's like almost like we make outlines for the show before we even record.
And that we're both looking at them on our phones.
Yeah. Hey, it's okay. People read teleprompters. We don't have teleprompters yet. We have but one day we will. We gotta look at our phones. It's okay. Jake Paul versus Dana White. Jake Paul and Dana White have beef.
And what is their beef about?
There's a lot of things, Nico. There's a lot of beef. I mean,
A lot of people have beef with Dana White. Now he's caught up in a RICO case. Like they're really making.
For those of you who watched last episode, you should be watching every episode. But yeah, he's in a RICO case. Correct. Probably isn't the first one he's been in, low key. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, but what is with their beef? I didn't get to that one.
Well, the thing is, a lot of this has to do with UFC fighter pay. It has to do with Dana White talking shit about the fights that Jake Paul has. And it's natural for them to be beef. And I think fundamentally, they're in competition with each other. The UFC fought very hard to be recognized as a legitimate fighting promotion. They waved the flag and carried the banner for mixed martial arts in a time where it wasn't legal in every state. People viewed it as human cockfighting, and it went from nothing to something. And Dana White, for better or for worse, helped bring it to the forefront. And he wants to hold on
To them old ways, the old
Yes,
styles.
the old style.
Now you have the little revolution that is coming. It's the financial revolution.
Yes, the financial revolution, which is celebrity garbage fights. They're not garbage fights. I think Jake Paul has pretty nice hands, and he could fuck a lot of people up. He just KO'd Tyron Woodley with one punch. He's trying to go for Canelo eventually, which might happen, might not happen. He keeps it up. It's a big money fight. This guy is making big money, and he definitely pissed Dana White off, because if there's one thing Dana White hates, is for someone showing him up and specifically talking about how he pays UFC fighters pennies on the dollar. Exploits them. I think it's exploitation. But this is a quote from Jake Paul. He says, "To all UFC fighters, time to take a stand and create value for yourselves and peers. You deserve higher pay. You deserve long-term health care. And above all, you deserve freedom." This is from People magazine. Jake Paul says that he is open to stepping away from boxing so long as UFC President Dana White agrees to his list of demands. On Saturday, the 24-year-old YouTuber turned boxer included a screenshot of his list of demands for Dana White.
Wait, did he call them a list of demands?
No, but I mean,
that's just an interesting way to put it, because it's not necessarily, like, to say it's a list of demands means it seems like he's like a terrorist or something like that. Instead of, like, when you're going in, like, to a contract, like, because this isn't even necessarily, it's like not like a job where you're hiring your boss. You're really contracting out like an independent contractor, an athlete. It's like you're really negotiating something. So, like, the spin that the media puts on it in that way is meant to be polemic,
okay.
Polarized, I'm sorry.
All right, so this is a quote, direct quote. "Happy New Year, Dana White. Here's a real challenge for you. I will immediately retire from boxing and fight Jorge Masvidal in the UFC if you agree to. Jake Paul, you're a ballsy motherfucker, but I'm not going to doubt you anymore because I'm a firm believer in quality, not quantity of training. And if you're focused and you have enough money, you can do anything. I'm serious.
Hey, yeah.
1. Increase minimum fighter pay per fight to $50,000. It's $12K now.
Oh, so this is kind of like a hostage thing. He did have like a list of these are like a list of demands. Okay.
Yes. 2. Guarantee UFC fighters 50% of annual revenues for the company. That would be $1 billion in 2021. 3. Provide long-term health care to all fighters. In parentheses, you previously said brain damage is a part of the gig. Imagine if the NFL said that. There are so many UFC alums who have publicly said they are suffering from brain damage.
Mm-hmm.
You have 5 days to accept and to implement the above by March 31st, 2022. Once implemented, I will retire from boxing, enter USADA, and agree to a 1-fight deal with the UFC to fight Wheat Chin Jorge.
You said you didn't know if there was demands, and we're gonna edit what I said before out. He straight up was like, "Yo,
I wasn't
like,
gonna argue. I don't argue about semantics.
You could have just said no."
I'm not gonna argue with
straight up list of demands as if he had hostages. But I fuck with it, because more people need to bring these kind of things to attention. So I fuck.
He also accused Dana White of doing coke.
Yo, I would definitely believe that. Just like
Hell
all them
yeah.
fighters are doing
Hell
steroids. You don't
yeah.
have the money he has and not out there living in Vegas
I
living
don't
that
know
life.
nothing about that. I don't know nothing
He
about
probably on
that
that
cocaine life.
ketamine. So like, what are other we should Google popular party drugs for the rich. 2021.
It's definitely up there. Poppers, definitely.
Because I wonder what the rich are doing now with all the fentanyl everywhere. Have they has they transitioned into a super richer drug that has no fentanyl?
They probably have drug testing kits. They have drug testing kits. I mean, they have drug testing kits. They're not gonna, or they have how back in the old ancient times they would have a food tester, a poison tester, and so the king would have someone test his food and eat it, and if he died and he knew it was poison, maybe they have cocaine testers for him, like actual humans to snort the coke for him, and if they die, they're like, well, he was just doing his job. Maybe that's what it is. Regardless, Dana White responded in a video he shared on Twitter. You publicly stated that I use cocaine. I do not. I believe that you're a cheater, and I believe that you use steroids.
So they're just going back and forth. Okay, he said, she said. Okay, I think one of them's on steroids and the other one's doing cocaine. But how are we going to work to increase fighter pay? How are we going to heal from this and move forward as a community? Keyword community, not shareholders off there that ain't the people in the cages getting fucked up.
I don't, now that I think about it, Dana White did a very classic deflection. He just wanted to change the subject to,
you're on steroids.
You're on steroids.
Yes, and as the head of an organization, that's one thing for a fighter to say, but you expect a little bit more from leadership.
But he's always been like that.
He
man.
has always been like that.
He's always been like that. He's always been a guy that was in a position, not through his own merit or his own money. He was put in there because he was in the right place in the right time and was friends with the right people. Mm-hmm. And he just comes off to me as a beta in an alpha position and able to utilize it to kind of, for lack of a better term, bully the talent.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was listening to something about some entrepreneurs or business people talking, and they were talking about a group that they had, and this group isn't just for business people. It's for people that want to do more than just run a business. It's for visionaries and people that are innovative, and that's kind of Dana White might be very good at business, but he has no vision and no desire to change the game or use the platform that he had. He could make standards for fighters to be awesome, or at least be compassionate, or try, or even not try, but not be a dick, because everybody at least likes a good boss. I remember one time I was in the Dominican Republic and they were making me wash dishes, and some girl came and gave me a beer, and she was like, here, so you do it happy. It's like Dana White doesn't even have that kind of common courtesy to like work with his fighters. And it could be hard because you gotta imagine like fighters can be like brutish. They are not the most eloquent people at all times. But again, as a leader, you need to be able to, like, as your organization evolves, you need to be able to evolve with it. And you need to be able to become something else that's other than, like, a heathen that's going to be like, nah, the person that I employ, you're on steroids and fucked up. Like, that's not the reaction that you want from somebody that's running one of the biggest fighting organizations.
I think they're kind of running game on the fighters because this is a passion project to be a combat athlete 99.9% of the time. I think 100%. You don't just sign up to pummel or smash or slam people or get slammed into the ground.
Blame this on Naruto a lot. Naruto has led many a kid astray and into this world.
Yeah. Yeah, half those guys are on our team.
I know.
And they're able to run game because people are so hungry to do this shit because it is fun.
It is.
That it's kind of like he's pimping these guys out, and they're just getting turned out, and no one's gonna stand up because, let's be real here, if you're trying to do this for a living, you've already foregone most avenues of gainful employment.
Very true. I mean, there's a few fighters that maintain, like, a few UFC fighters that have jobs and they fight, but like they might have even weaned out, like, in this generation, actually. Like,
You got to be full time. You have to be full time. We talked about it in another episode. You don't want to sacrifice any kind of moment of training for something that isn't being conducive to your dreams, because in MMA, it's dire consequences. And yeah, I watch old Ultimate Fighter clips. Dana White just talks to these guys any type of way. They're just groveling and taking pennies for the opportunity to get CTE.
oh man, exactly. You got to think about the amount of head injuries, and for him to outright say that it's kind of like part of the job. That I mean, we have no that just goes to show that we have no regulations in this sport. I mean, in
None.
football, if something like that were to happen, they at least have the common courtesy to try to cover it up.
Cover it up or have a pension, and the football players have a union. And it's not as strong as baseball or even basketball, but there's a union. These guys are fundamentally independent contractors. They have at-will employment, and they sign a contract, which even Conor McGregor got kind of a raw deal because half of his money from the Floyd Mayweather fight was taken from him and given to Zuffa or Dana, whoever the hell. And if it happens to him, it happens to everybody. They're getting game run on them. And it's going to take legislation. It's going to take someone to stand up, like we talked about last episode with Mark Hunt. And it's going to take more than just one Mark Hunt. It's going to take a movement.
I mean, yeah, I definitely think if you compare it to like the rap industry, it's like, how long have they been at it and getting screwed over and losing their masters, and they're still doing it wrong and still getting signed wrong, and it's just like so many new rappers coming on and trying to get money and this and that. And any, like, if I bring it to that because they have a lot of podcasts where a lot of them old heads will be talking about, and that's one thing they talk about is like, when you get in the game, you need to know what to do with your money. You need to know how to manage yourself, and that's like super important. And like Tim was saying, like, you in the last episode, he was talking about, like, you know, how to define success. And it's like, yeah, only you can define success. But like, when you have mentors and you have people to guide you, like, they're going to give you information, and you're again going to grow and evolve, and your definition of success is going to change, and it's going to like elevate, hopefully.
He's just giving these guys Birdman deals, and it's it's very sad to see, because I mean, I just think, and all the effort everyone puts into this, and how much money they draw, and how much, like, these streaming services, these networks, they're all about getting content, and it's very lucrative. They're giving out big deals for shows that don't even break 1 million viewers on a regular basis. And the UFC just upped their pay-per-view price to like $75 a pay-per-view.
Did they?
They're
Damn.
running game on the athletes. they're running game on the fans, and the guys that run it are getting richer. ESPN's getting richer. UFC's getting richer. So, I mean, it's just a dirty game. You know, it's one of these situations that feels bad, but as
But
I
at the
get,
same time, you also
everyone's
have a
getting.
lot more independent people coming up on YouTube or this or that and streaming and Randory. And the more people learn about what is going on, like the more you're going to see like alternatives to it. So it's just really important that people are aware. Like if you're really passionate about the sport and you really want to do like MMA, and like you really need to understand the fact that like when you're in your 30s, you need to pay the bills to live in a house. Like eventually your coach and your mom are both going to kick you out. Even if you're in the UFC, that means you need to use your fight money to get the I need to stop cursing. You need to use that fight money, your purse, to like get out of your house. Like even Sadiq said, like, because when Sadiq has fight camps, like if y'all think he's doing that with TLI by himself, like you crazy. Like they fly people in with the styles of the people to train with him. And he said, like, yeah, in the beginning, like Master Lloyd used to bank all that. Like now it's on him. He's flying them in. He's paying for their hotels. He's paying for their food. Like, and that's just a whole other person. And it's like, so you kind of need to know how the game works. Like, because somebody's gonna take care of you in the beginning. Like, you might have all the sponsorship. Like, you look at Tay today. Like, he had everything. Like, eventually you're gonna have to go out on your own and make your moves and have your house with your pool, or you're gonna be living in your parents' house. Either way, it depends on how you flip it.
You always got to flip it. You always have to have a contingency plan. And you just got to let them know that you're not going to get screwed over and be willing to walk away if you don't have a situation that's good for you, because you don't want to spend any time, let alone years of your life, and spend so much of your energy and brain cells to something that's not going to give you the life that you eventually want and the security that you want. And, shout out to Jake Paul. He's doing it the smart way. You can say whatever you want about the guy, but I got to tell you this. You got to commend him for doing shit his way, and he doesn't really have a boss, and guys hate on him, but maybe this is exactly what this is exactly what needs to happen to get some kind of change. And the fact that he's got Dana White all in a tizzy shows that he's doing something right. So, Nico, anything else you want to add before we wrap?
Wait, I gotta say my celebrity match because I put a lot of thought into this. You had one thing. We're not gonna go into details because but we're gonna like.
Yeah, we talk about.
Anytime he asks me these, because Tim had a question. Like we're talking about all this drama, this BS. Like celebrity death match.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Was it who's number one? IBJJF, gi no gi. What kind of fight was it?
Oh, just a fight? I would just say like a celebrity boxing match or an MMA fight.
Okay.
But I just wanted to know since we talked about so much celebrity beef today, what celebrities would you like to see in a match? Like a fight? Like, grappling, yeah. But like a celebrity boxing match or celebrity MMA fight?
At first I was going to go with like Drake and Kanye, but I was like, that's too... After that whole fucking, I need to stop cursing. I'm sorry, y'all. 2022, I'm trying to do it a little different.
Not too late now.
Yeah, I'm like 5 F-bombs in. But, like with that whole mixtape drama stretching out, I'd really just kind of like thought I'd like to see him duke it out. But I was like, nah, that's a little bit too obvious. Leave that for the verses or something. And then I thought, there's 2 people I want to see fight. Miley Cyrus. And I was like, who would be a good opponent? Because, she likes to run her mouth. She likes to be out there doing all this crazy stuff. But I don't want to put her against somebody big like Meg Thee Stallion. I said there was going to be no explanations. So I'm going to go with Miley Cyrus and JT from City Girls. Want to see them go down. And I would like to see Dave Chappelle fight anybody, preferably somebody from the audience.
Like those 2 white women in the audience that were just staring at him in disgust in his last special. Those are the type of people he was talking about. Those are the exact people. First of all, I don't go to Klan rallies expecting for them to say nice things about black people. Why would you go to a Dave Chappelle show if you are super sensitive and are just
Some people are
social
just
justice warrior.
disconnected.
They're
Some
just
people are
so
disconnected.
like, I'm just gonna go to a comedy show and just so I could say I went to see Dave Chappelle. And they're just sitting up there, just arms crossed. They're like, I can't wait to get out of this show so I can tweet about it. And I just be mad. You know, those are the type of people that are on Twitter.
And that's why this would be a great match. Like, I hope it would be like the right kind of person. I feel like I want to see him fight a man after the whole Netflix thing. And like, I just don't want that. But anyway, who are your picks?
I only have one celebrity fight, and it's very timely. Freddie Gibbs versus Jim Jones. Allegedly, Jim Jones and his crew beat the shit out of Freddie Gibbs at Prime 112 in Miami, like a famous steakhouse, because Freddie Gibbs was talking shit about Jim Jones and said that he was a fake gangster. And I hate to say it, I love Freddie Gibbs' rapping ability. I'm a big Freddie Gibbs fan. I've been listening to him for about 10 years now. But
Wow.
You guys can look it up. This guy is slowly but surely getting exposed for not being about what he raps about, which in 2022, we should get over it. But I think authenticity has its place in music. And Freddie, you're going out sad. But as a fan of you, and I'm a fan of Jim Jones, I'm a fan of Dipset. You know what I'm saying? I fucks with Dipset too. We have to settle this, okay? I can't go on in life not wondering who actually got the better hand of this confrontation or who would actually win. And I think this is the fight that all the fans want to see now. So let's get Freddie Gibbs versus Jim Jones. Man, poor Freddie, man. I'm hearing that his dad is a cop, and Freddie's raps about selling coke. Like his brother definitely is a surgeon. Like he posted that shit before. So I'm like, so you're telling me you were selling cocaine in Gary, Indiana, but your brother was in school studying to be a doctor and went to medical school, and then just become like a regular ass doctor.
Yo, Braden and Tariq are up there trapping at Stanford.
Who?
Braden and Tariq?
Who?
You don't watch Power?
No, I don't watch Power.
Well, my bad. Spoiler alert.
All right, I know people that go to college that sell that sold drugs. Okay, I know people that did that.
But no, it's definitely not a good look. Like, especially I feel like as a light skinned person, like it's really hard.
As a light skin,
because they have all these memes like, oh, these light skinned people. Oh, start with that light skin spark and da 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 da. And it's like, yo, if you're not gonna be about that life, don't mess up the reputation or this or that. Like you. If he wasn't about that life and he started losing again, you just gotta kind of transition your music off the topic so people don't like tear you apart in 2022. Like he needed to get on that train. Like if you're getting discovered, you needed to cut the other angle. So I guess he is in a street, as he says he is.
There's enough cocaine rappers out there. You know, if you guys are watching this and you want to be a rapper, don't do it, because we need like some doctors and lawyers and shit. But if you are gonna do it, talk about something a little bit different. Like, you know, I like listening to boom bap rap and all that trap shit, but I mean, after a while, I mean, when you're in the car with a girl, do you think she really wants to listen to a whole bunch of like cocaine rap?
Just a little bit, maybe some New York drill.
A little bit, but not like, you know, like you got your girl over your crib or you got a lady with you. Like, do you really want to be playing Moneybag Yo?
No, see it like
Yeah, I mean, and it's no shade. Like I like, all right. So if I'm in the crib with a girl and we're about to get to business, am I gonna play Extortion by Mobb Deep with Method Man?
You know what? There are people that are like, and they're my friends. They're my friends,
shit.
but they're like, yo, when you gonna let me take you out? And it's like, yo, we at your house on your TV, on your wall, bigger than the TV behind us, and you watching people fighting in the parking lot of Walmart, but it's on YouTube, but it's from a cell phone and it's phoned horizontal, so it's like this tiny little screen and this big screen. I was like, y'all got me 30 minutes watching fights in the parking lots of YouTube talking about, yo.
You weren't
You
turned on by
want to be my
that?
girl? No, no. I
It
can
just
take like
dried you
maybe
out.
something like I give me like, and it's not even like
Go.
on a friend level, it's cool, but like that's the thing. I've yelled at people too. It's like, yo, like I'm like, if I'm your girl, I'm not your nigga. Like I'm not your homie. I act very different. If like, I was like, but it's funny when people think that it's like, yo, we were watching homeless men, or they're not even homeless. Their families fighting in
They just
Walmart.
some niggas.
That's romantic. I'm just niggas, man. I'm niggas. I'm niggas.
Oh my God. Well, listen, guys, if you want more sage advice on how to get your lady out them drawers, you can go to patreon.com/BJJ Goons. We not only give you instructionals about how to get laid, but we teach you how to do some jujitsu. We even take requests. We also have town halls. We just had one. Well, if you're watching this, we had one that passed, but it's not too late because we have town halls all the time. We have bonus episodes, all types of good exclusive stuff. I'm not even going to tell you everything that's on there because you should just go right now to patreon.com/BJJ Goons for all of the wonderful content that we have for you. Also, you can find me at timspriggsbjj.com, which was created by Blue Edge Business. If you look on there, you'll see that you can actually go online and buy it on the website. I would have never thought in a million years that I would have like a way to bill people on a website because I was using all kinds of janky stuff like bullshit WordPress.
Coke.
Yeah, all that stupid stuff. And I finally found Blue Edge Business Solutions. They hooked a brother up. They set up the website. You can get a private lesson. You can book me for a seminar. I can make a game plan for you. I can even critique your matches like I'm John Madden. And that's all because of Blue Edge Business. Go to blueedgebusinesssolutions.com. Tell them Tim Spriggs sent you for a very special discount. And also, what you'll notice on that website is there's pictures of me and I look super jacked. And no, I don't take steroids. No. Nico, did you know I don't take steroids?
I thought you did, but I
No.
thought you
No.
finished your last like. Never mind then.
No. No, this physique that you see right now is all natural. And it is made possible by John's Fit Meals. Go to johnsfitmeals.com and you can get your own gourmet meals made specifically for you and your athletic needs. All you got to do is go online, pick from their weekly menu, or you can order it special, a la carte, for, I think that's what a la carte means. But you can order your meals. They're homemade by a chef, gourmet meals that'll help you be a beast, just like me, all natural. No ball shrinkage from the steroids. Nico, where can we find you?
Wow, lost me with the ball shrinkage one. But anyway, you can find me on Instagram at no new Nico. That's no_new_Nico, NICO. Also, make sure to drop by favelajujitsu.com. We'll leave the link in the description. We have some new merch. You can go and get BJJ Goons hoodies. You can get Interim These Nuts t-shirts. They were designed by my boy Finchworks Creations. Almost called it Creatives. Finchworks Creations.
Shout out
He
to
is
the
in
Finchworks.
Texas, but he is doing work all over the place. He does all of our designs for our t-shirts, resizing, logos, stuff like that. So really appreciate that. Excited to start selling these t-shirts.
Well, guys, it's been another great episode. Can't wait to see you guys until next time. Stay safe. Have fun. Peace.